Brooksy was a buddy of ours from back in the day. He passed away a few years back, and this is the memorial run that we have for him, and this is exactly how he'd want it.
Hey, welcome back. So this is a weekend ride in the name of Steve Brooks. It's a memorial ride to commemorate our friend, and I don't think he would have it any other way.
The first drop of the day.
Yep, there's going to be a few drops over this weekend, and today probably has the better potential because it is raining quite hard and everything is fairly slick. That's okay though, everyone is smiling and having a good time. There's a mixed bag of riders on this, and by that I mean different skill sets and different bikes, but everyone is the best of people, which is to say they're down easters and they ride bikes. In my last video I talked about karma, and we left off where I had done just this thing to Colin, and so there is me paying off my karma debt, eating a bit of mud. But that's alright, because it's raining fairly hard and it's all going to get washed off and then added on to and then washed off again. So most of today is going to be double track like this, some rocks, some grassy areas, some power lines, some mud, a little bit of single track, but not very much.
I got a little too close behind you.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I feel like that wasn't a very serious apology, although he had no reason to apologize. Completely my own fault for getting up behind him and putting myself in the splash zone.
Up to the lookout now, so can't stop. Here we go. There's some space.
For today I spooned on a tire. In fact, I spooned it on twice because directional arrows are for people that follow directions. Good thing I've got a Rabaconda. Anyway, what I'm running is a Shinko 525 cheater in a 120 size. And what I normally run is an Enduro medium, which is a Michelin, in a 140 with a soft mousse. Right now it's medium mousse, 120, and I'll let the spoiler out early. This is a phenomenal tire. Works great in everything. All this stuff that we ride, the mud, the rocks, the roots, no problems at all. And this is early testing, but so far I'm liking it. I spent a year in Israel, and every day is sunny and hot and everything is dry, and you never have to worry about a weather event, at least not as a Canadian, because when it's 15 degrees you're doing okay and it's quite pleasant. When it's 40 degrees, not so much. However, getting out and riding on days like this, in the rain, in the mud, when you're wet, it's not necessarily cold, but it just makes those sunny days when they come so much better.
That's pretty slick in there, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, there's Lance. I might as well tuck in behind him and carry on with this ride. Lance and I carpooled down because, well, the price of gas. It's better to save those dollars for fuel in the dirt bike tanks than riding multiple vehicles, so that's probably how we'll roll for most of the summer. Colin couldn't make it down for this trip, although he really wanted to because Brooksy was a good buddy of his. But again, he's doing some training this weekend, and I'm sure we'll catch up with him soon.
Good little challenge. You take a little break now.
So the guy that's talking, that's Chris, and I'll circle back to him in a second. Behind him is Dan, and off to the right in red there, that's Steve, also known as Chicken. Dan and Steve, that's Gnarly Chicken fame, but what I want to say is Chris. So Chris is a legend. On numerous occasions throughout the years, he's hosted people at his house, had them overnight, put on a big feed, and generally just made sure everyone had a good time. Chris organized the event this year. I think he even went out and cut some fresh trails when some of the stuff that we were planning to ride got a little chewed up from some forestry work. But that's Chris in a nutshell. He's going to look after you for sure. So if you're ever down in New Brunswick in the St. John area, you just look up Chris and you'll be looked after. Opportunity here to showcase that Shinko 525 that I'm running. It's going to climb right up this, no problems. I like riding in these rocks in the riverbeds. This here is not slippery, or not very slippery, but the harder it gets, the better it is because it becomes like 3D chess. Alright, a little rip down this road, and it's going to take us into another area that's kind of fun. This trail that we're coming up to is mostly a quad trail, but it's wide open road. But the quads, because they come ripping through there, have created some banked corners that we get to play on.
Oh, my face. Oh, it's wicking up my sleeves.
Yep, the rain pelting on the face at speed is not that comfortable, and we're all getting pretty saturated, but still smiling. I know we're not going terribly fast here, and it looks like you could rail these corners, and you could, but there's quads out on the trail, and we know that because we saw the trailers out on the main road. Nobody wants to become a hood ornament on the front of a side-by-side or a quad. It just makes everybody have a bad day. That's a good time to take a little pause, fix a tire, and remind myself to install that front moose. Alright, time to move on. We're going to cross this river, down the trail a little bit, and we're going to roll into a sand pit and play around there for a little while, and it's a good time. Line them up after this and race to the top, and I gotta chop the throttle because I start eating some pretty sizable rocks from Lance, who gets out ahead of me here.
That wasn't a good idea. Not wearing goggles.
How's the suspension feel on those sand whoops?
Front end's good, back end starts to swap.
Pin it.
How did I know he was going to say
Yeah.
that? There's the
That
standard
block right there
answer. When in
sketchy.
doubt, pin it out. And that's what we do.
Middle of the
And
drive,
having a
isn't it?
pretty good time
Yeah.
kind of ripping around in here. This is
Fucking
fun stuff to
hold
play
her
on.
wide
We need a
open.
bit more of this.
Go stick.
There's some rocks in there that are just big enough to ruin your day if you get going too fast and don't dodge them. And it gets worse when people start throwing them at you. Yeah, that was definitely some good fun ripping around in the sand pit and some laughs were had. But it's time to move on, so we hit the trail and keep going. So Leah came out to ride with everybody today, and she's on a 150 and it's small wheels, and she managed to get through everything today without too much difficulty. She's got a new beta and she's pretty excited about that. It just needed some protection pieces on it, kind of like I do right here, and she'll be out on the trails again shortly. Alright, after splashing through some puddles, we roll up to the next set of trails, and Chris lets me know that I've taken another withdrawal from the Karma Bank.
You got me so good. You goosed her right to that puddle. I was like, I'm okay. But
You didn't stay behind me because of the roost, but you got into the splash zone,
right
right?
into the wave. Thank you.
Well, I give Chris some space up there just in case there's any thoughts of payback. And, to be fair, Chris probably would have appreciated having his bike washed for him a little later on.
How bad is it?
Not bad.
Tis nothing, my good man.
It's been a pretty full day. The rain has stopped, but it's time to head home. So we're heading back to Carv's place, and, well, there's Chris. Just got his bike a little bit dirty, and he's about to get it a lot dirtier. Way over the handlebars and in some really thick mud, and I wasn't sure the camera was running, and I hit the button and turned it off, so we don't see the aftermath, but it's pretty muddy. And that brings us to the end. We're just going to rip down this rail bed here and call it a day.